Are you scared of LRDI section in CAT? That means you haven't been preparing the right way. LRDI is the section most CAT aspirants are scared of, not because it is difficult, but because it feels confusing. There are no formulas, there are no fixed steps, and many times we do not know where to start. And in this video, I want to change that. This video is not about how to solve questions fast. This video is about understanding how LRDI actually works. Now, before we go deeper into LRDI, let me explain you how this CAT preparation series will work. Every week, we will be uploading videos on Quant, LRDI and VARC so that your preparation stays balanced. You don't ignore any section, you don't panic at the end. Think of this channel as your weekly CAT classroom. And in order to make sure that you do not miss any updates, subscribe to this channel. And one important thing before we continue. At the end of the video, we'll take one previous year's CAT LRDA question. I'll show you how to start, how to organize the information, and how to think. The goal is not the answer. The goal is the approach. So make sure that you watch the video till the end. Now let's talk about LRDI section in CAT. LRDI is the second section in CAT after VARC. In CAT 2025, there were 22 questions and these questions were asked in sets. 5 sets were asked. Out of these 5, 2 sets were having 5 questions each and 3 sets were having 4 questions each. So in total 22 questions, and you are not expected to solve all the 22 questions. Now in LRDI, choosing the right set is very important. Now let's discuss how is LRDI different from Quant and VARC. Unlike this, LRDI does not have definite syllabus. Any question with logic involved can be asked. And this is why LRDI feels scary to many CAT aspirants. Now let's look at some of the must-do topics in LRDI. Just now we had discussed that LRDI does not have a definite syllabus. So from where do these topics come from? These topics are taken looking at LRDI sections of previous CAT papers. Here at the Gurukul, we broadly divide LRDI section into 3 modules: logical reasoning, data interpretation, and analytical reasoning. In logical reasoning, we'll be covering arrangements, puzzles, selections and grouping, binary logic, and critical path. Data interpretation, we have tabular graphs, line graphs, bar graphs, pie chart, spiral, bubble graph, or any miscellaneous graph. And in analytical reasoning, we'll be discussing games and tournaments, Venn diagrams, numeric logic, crypto-arithmetic, quant-based reasoning, some caselets, and any miscellaneous questions. And in this series, we will be covering all these topics one by one. And to make sure that you do not miss any updates from us, subscribe to this channel. Now let's look at LRDA section in CAT 25 of all the 3 slots. Now in slot 1, you are asked one set on numbers based puzzle, one set on circular arrangements, one set on DI spiral and bar graph, one set on quant based reasoning, and one set on numbers based puzzle, right? And you have an easy set having 5 questions. Now whereas in slot 2, one set on puzzles, one set on logic based DI, one set on ordering and sequencing, one set on numbers based puzzle, and one set on scattered graph. And here also you have 2 easy sets with 4 questions each. Now coming to slot 3, one set on arrangements, one set on numbers based puzzle, one set on caselet, one set on quant based reasoning, and one set on data interpretation. And you have 2 easy sets with 4 questions each. In LRDI, you do not need a very high score to get a good percentile. Even small number of correct answers will land you in a good percentile. Now let's look at LRDI score versus percentile in CAT 25. If you manage to get 3 questions correct, that is 9 marks, will fetch you 70 plus percentile. 4 questions, 12 marks, will fetch you 80 plus percentile. 5 questions, 15 marks, will be 86 plus percentile. 6 questions, 18 marks, will fetch you 92 plus percentile. 7 questions, 21 marks, 95 plus percentile. 10 questions, 30 marks, 99 plus percentile. 11 questions, 33 marks, 99.5 plus percentile. And 13 questions, 39 marks, will fetch you 99.9 plus percentile. So in order to ensure that you cross sectional cutoff in LRDI section, you should be in a position to score 15. That means attempting only one set with 5 questions out of 22. So how do we prepare LRDI in this series? Right now, we'll start from basics. How to read, how to organize information, how to make tables, how to eliminate the wrong options, and most importantly, how to stay calm. From August onwards, every day, we'll be giving you one CAT level LRDI set to practice, and these are real CAT level sets, and by that time you would be ready. Now let's apply what we had discussed. Here is a previously asked CAT question. Now don't worry about solving it, just observe how the approach works. Now while watching this example, don't focus on answers, focus on how data is organized and how clarity is created. Now let's look at this question. There are 6 spherical balls B1, B2, B3, B4, B5 and B6 and 4 circular hoops H1, H2, H3 and H4. Each ball was tested on each hoop once by attempting to pass the ball through the hoop. If the diameter of a ball is not larger than the diameter of the hoop, the ball passes through the hoop and makes a pin. Any ball having a diameter larger than that of hoop gets stuck on that hoop and does not make a ping. The following additional information is known. B1 and B6 each made a ping on H4 but B5 did not. B4 made a ping on H3 but B1 did not. All balls except B3 made pings on H1. None of the balls except B2 made a ping on H2. So if you have a hoop, if the diameter of this ball is equal to the diameter of the hoop or less than the diameter of the hoop, this ball will pass through that and make a ping. If the diameter of the ball is larger than the diameter of the hoop, it does not pass through and it does not make a ping. Right, so this is the information that is given in this paragraph, and we are also given with 4 additional statements, and we are asked how many? 4 questions based on the given information. Now to answer these 4 questions, I will be making a table like this. So we have 6 balls and 4 hoops. Now let's see how to insert these 4 statements into this table. Now coming to the first statement, B1 and B6 each made a ping on H4 but B5 did not. Now B1 made a ping on H4 and B6 also made a ping on H4 but B5 did not. Now from this information I can say that the diameter of H4 is greater than diameters of B1 and B6 because these two balls had made ping on H4 but B5 did not. So that means B5's diameter should be greater than H4's diameter, which in turn is greater than B1's and B6 diameters. Done. We are done with first statement. Now coming to second statement, B4 made a ping on H3. B4 made a ping on H3 but B1 did not. Now in order to have B4 making a ping on H3, H3's diameter should be greater than B4's diameter. And since we have B1 not making a ping on H3, B1's diameter should be greater than H3's diameter, which in turn is greater than B4's diameter. Right. So B4's diameter is less than B1's diameter. Let me put it here. Done. Now let's look at the third statement. All balls except B3 made pings on H1. So in H1 you have B1 passing through, B2 passing through, B4, B5 and B6. So I can say that H1's diameter is greater than B1's, B2's, B4's, B5's, B6 diameters but not B3's diameter. So this makes B3 the largest of all the balls. Now if I have to arrange these balls in the descending order, B3 should be the largest of all because H1 is greater than B1, B2, B4, B5, B6 but less than B3. So B3 should be the largest of all. Done. None of the balls except B2 made a ping on H2. So we have B2 making a ping on H2 and no other ball made a ping on H2. So H2's diameter is greater than B2's and H2's diameter is less than B1's, B3's, B4's, B5's and B6. So that makes B2 the smallest of all. And we are left with B1, B4, B6 and B5. And we also know that B5's diameter is greater than B1, B4 and B6. So that makes B5 the second largest one. Done. Right. Now, since we had put all the statements into this table, now let's see what else can be concluded based on the given ticks and crosses. Now, since we have B1's diameter greater than B4's diameter, if B1 is passing through H4, B4 should also pass through H4 because B4 is smaller than B1. Now we have a smaller ball and a larger ball. If the larger ball is passing through a hole, the smaller one should also pass through that hole, right? So using that, I can say that B4 should pass through H4. Now, since we have B1 not passing through H3 and B5's diameter is more than that of B1's, so you cannot also have B5 passing through H3. And similarly, B4 is passing through H3. B4 is larger than B2. So if B4 is passing through H3, B2 should also pass through H3. Done. Now B1 is not passing through H3 and B3 is the largest of all. If B1 itself is not passing through H3, I can also say that B3 will also not pass through H3. And since B5 is not passing through H4, B3, which is larger than B5, will also not pass through H4. And similarly, B1 is passing through H4. B2 smaller than B1 will also pass through H4. Tick. Now, except for this, we have filled all the remaining table, and this depends on whether B6 diameter is greater than B4 diameter or not. So, except for that, we have all the information required. And now coming to sizes of hoops. Now, H1 should be the largest of all because you have all the balls passing through H1, right? Except for B3. So H1's diameter is greater than B1's, B2's, B4, B5's and B6. So that makes H1 the largest hoop, right? So we have how many hoops? 4, right? Now coming to B1. B1 is not passing through H2 or H3 but is passing through H4, right? So the diameter of H4 is greater than that of B1. So H4's diameter should be greater than H3's and H2's. So that makes H4 the second largest. And if you observe, B4 is passing through H3 and B4 is not passing through H2. So B4's diameter is greater than H2's diameter but less than H3's diameter. So the diameter of H3 should be greater than that of H2. So H2 becomes the smallest hoop and H3 the second smallest. So H2, H3, H4 and H1 would be the ascending order of the diameters of these hoops. And this completes the set. Now let's look at the questions. Now first question, what was the total number of pings made by B1, B2 and B3? Now B1 we have 2, B2 we have 4 and B3 we have 0. So the answer for first question should be 6. Which of the following statements about the relative sizes of the balls is not necessarily true? B4 less than B5 less than B3. Now this is true. B3 is the largest, B5 is the second largest. So this should not be the answer. B5, B1, B2. B5 is second largest, B2 the smallest, and B1's diameter should be greater than B2's. Now this is also true. Cannot be the answer. B1, B6 and B3. Now between B1 and B6, we do not know which is greater or which is larger. Hence, this cannot be definitely true. Or let me look at option D. B1, B5, B3. B3 is the largest, B5 is the second largest, which is greater than B1. So this is definitely true, hence cannot be the answer. Now since we do not know between B1 and B6 which is larger, right? So the answer for this question should be option C. Now coming to question 3. Which of the following statements about the relative sizes of the hoops is true? So the largest of all is H1. Then we have H4, H3 and H2. H1, H4, H3 and H2. So it has to be option A. Now what best can be said about the total number of pings from all the tests undertaken? So we have how many pings? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now if there is a ping, then total number of pings would be 13. Otherwise it would be 12. So what best can be known? Right, it could be 12 or 13. Hence option A should be the answer to this question. If you start following this series seriously, LRDI will stop feeling random. And when you start CAT level practice from August, you will feel more confident. Learn the process. The marks will follow. Let's begin.